Wang Jingwei. Considered as one of the greatest traders in Chinese history, Wang Jingwei was born in 1883. When he turned 21, he went to school in Japan where he encountered Sun Yat-sen, a famous Chinese revolutionary. Under the influence of Sen, he began to participate in plots against the government, including an abortive assassination attempt on the Manchu regent in Beijing. Jiang stayed in prison until the Wuchang uprising in 1911. After that time, Sun remained his mentor. Sun Yat-sen's Guangdong government rose to power in 1920. When Sun lay on his deathbed in 1925, Wang was his chosen successor. Wang could not hold on to power, however. Jiang Jixi's military faction overthrew him the very same year. When Nanjing fell to the Japanese in 1937, Wang began his treacherous dealings with the Japanese government, earning his place in history. He supported Japan's plans for an armistice in a notorious telegram that led to his expulsion from the Chongqing government. When China was in crisis and needed him most, Jingwei took plans to ally with the Japanese and go along with his invaders. Wang died before he could witness the defeat of the Japanese by Allied forces in World War II. The Rosenbergs. Selling atomic secrets to the Russians during the Cold War is about as treasonous as it gets. The Rosenbergs were a married couple willing to do anything to further their communist beliefs. Julius and Ethel Rosenbergs were affiliated with the Communist Party quite openly until 1943, when they suddenly seemed to retreat from any political activity. This was the same year they joined forces with Soviet super spy Flixov. From then on, Julius Rosenberg was heavily involved in espionage against the American government. He acted as a mole for covert information exchanges with the Russians and sought out new recruits to betray and spy for the USSR. He was arrested as he shaved one morning in 1950. He and his wife Ethel were executed on June the 19th of 1953. Aldrich Ames. Ames entered the Soviet embassy in Washington in 1985 and offered to sell American secrets for one reason only: money. He was an alcoholic with a very expensive second wife named Rosario, who burned through his paychecks from the CIA with alarming frequency. In order to give the woman he loved the lifestyle she demanded, he was willing to do a lot of damage to the US government. By releasing the names of American spies and other counterintelligence information, he compromised over 100 United States military operations. Due to Ames's actions, who earned about $4.6 million for his efforts, 10 Americans were executed because their covers were blown. In time, he revealed the names of every US agent in operation against the USSR. His lavish lifestyle raised red flags for the CIA, and he was arrested and convicted to life in prison. His wife Rosario was deported to South America. Knut Quisling. Considered a lunatic right-winger in his native Norway, Quisling went unnoticed until forming his National Unity Party in 1933. He adored Adolf Hitler and was a firm believer in the doctrine of fascism. Quisling, a military general, met with Hitler and made sure he had all the information he needed about the Norwegian military strategy so that Hitler could secure the occupation of Norway. When the Germans invaded, Quisling was appointed as premier as the deposed government officials scattered and ran, trying to stay alive. The citizens of Norway were disgusted by his appointment and rebelled until he was forced to step down. Nonetheless, Hitler had him reinstated that November. A failure and a weak politician, Quisling often made a fool of himself, even in the eyes of his Nazi collaborators. After the German surrender in Norway, Quisling was tried and convicted for deaths of 1,000 Jews, along with other war crimes. He was executed in 1945. So that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Until the next video, goodbye.